When you have these buttons, as long as you have the correct role and permission, you should be able to see this menu when you right click in this gray area around it. You know, everyone, when I tell people to right click, sometimes they're right clicking too far away, but if you right click in this gray kind of shaded area around it, you should get this menu. And you're going to want to hit edit the field properties for this field. And you'll see kind of our formula. So this is what's actually going on when you're executing the button. And there's some good stuff to show here as we're going through this. So I'm going to go through each one of these just so you guys have an understanding of what's going on. Line 1, this is our URL. You'll never have to change this. So you can totally ignore that, as well as line 2 and line 3. 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to have to change your client ID. This is your unique client ID. Imagine it as a record ID for Juice Technologies. So you will not need to change that. Line 4, this is the app that we're running it in. And we just are simply saying we're doing it for this application. Again, you don't need to change this really ever unless you're putting it into a new app. And even if that's the case, Quickbase is smart enough to know that it's going to be whatever app ID or app DB ID you're in. As for what table we're executing this from, we're taking the DB ID of the document templates table, and we're taking template 6 from that. So TPID stands for template ID. So as I was showing you before, it's actually the record ID from the document templates table. So when I made this, we're actually getting it from 6. So this is the one we're going to end up editing. So I'm just going to open this up here so we know. But remember, it's document template 6. Let's say hypothetically, I did this again, or I made another template just by hitting, new document template. You'd want to make sure that you put in the correct number here. So let's say it's 7, you put 7. One of the common questions that we get is, okay, I want it to be dynamic based off of what, what the situation is. If it's a welcome letter, if it's an offer letter, if it's, a termination letter, whatever the situation might be, people do want to vary that based off of a change in Quickbase. I could definitely go through that. I believe I had gone through that a couple times in other office hours, so I'm not going to run into that right now, but that is definitely something you can do. So back to this, row 7, line 7, this is FN. FN is file name. So if I didn't want this to be EFP document, if I wanted it to be a welcome letter, I can absolutely do that. This is saying what record are we doing it for? And we're doing it for this record ID. And actually tenant number is replacing the record ID name. So that's why it says tenant number there. For most of you, this will say record ID number. But if you do change that key field, that's what it's going to be. And again, we're doing it for this table. Now for line 10, FA ID, that's the file attachment ID number. And this is where we're going to store the document. So field 68, and then EFP DTE, that is the date. We're doing the date into field 69. I said before when we were doing the installation that you could very easily change what the output type would be. And this is where you do that on line 12. You have doc FMT, which stands for doc format. So we have PDF. If we wanted that to be docx, you would just put docx in there. And we'll keep it for PDF for now, but that's how you would change that. And then stream equals Y essentially just opens it up in a browser page. That is the native functionality for the URL version of this. For the progress bar, it will not do that. And then app token is only there if that is required for you. And of course, with any URL button, you could change the colors. You could, really do whatever you please. So I'll just make it blue.